Good morning, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Wherever you are, I hope that you guys have the amazing start of the day. Today, we're going to have University of Denver, if I'm not making a mistake, uh, with us today. Lena, no, actually, sorry, Emma, Lena, Kelvin. If you don't mind, can you have your cameras on? Because I would like to introduce you guys today. So we have Emma, and then Lena is one of the students and will share her experience with us, and Kelvin is ApplyBoard colleague that will take a question. So I don't need to be trying so hard to understand the questions. Kelvin take over. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Emma, for taking time and Lena explaining to our partners about the university and understanding uh, how they would be able to assist their students to send the students to Colorado, Denver. And a quick reminder for our audience, the first 45 minutes will be the presentation. The last 15 minutes will be Q&A. So just write your questions down, have it ready. And at the end of the presentation, we will share the recording of this webinar with you guys. So you just can sit back, enjoy whatever you do, take something new and learn them, and hopefully that would be useful for yourself and your staff. And that is pretty much it. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to pass it to Emma. And once again, Emma, really appreciate for taking time this morning with us and explaining about your institution.
All right. Thanks, Meti, for that great introduction. So my name is Emma. I am the International Recruitment and Enrollment Coordinator at the University of Colorado, Denver. I am also a CU Denver alumna. I did my undergraduate degree at CU Denver, so I have a very personal experience there and will be able to tell you throughout the presentation about my experience at CU Denver. So I believe we're going to start off with a video just to kind of give you guys an overview of the campus and what it looks like so you can see it for yourselves.
At CU Denver, curiosity is contagious. Here, we never stop asking, what if? Questioning, why? Or actively wondering, why not? With a world-class city as our campus, we continually innovate and evolve. We flex and find new ways forward, ensuring that our educational experience remains as dynamic as our urban environment. At CU Denver, we attract, develop, and empower people who are ready to make a difference. Dreamers and doers, healers and hopers. A generation who are raising their hands, not to ask permission, but to declare their intent to change the world. And we're changing it right along with them by putting knowledge into practice, shaping data into deeds, transforming understanding into action, and turning information into impact that reverberates across Denver and well beyond. Through our graduates, we're generating the entrepreneurs, civic leaders, and problem solvers of tomorrow. And through our research, we're generating the ideas, intelligence, and technologies that are improving lives today. Our programs push our students into real-world experiences and pull top faculty into our classrooms. Working together, they are breaking new ground at the leading edge of societal issues, creating new knowledge and engaging in vital research to address pressing real-world challenges, ensuring the safety of our city's bridges, developing technology to prevent concussions, advancing Alzheimer's treatment by predicting its onset, and mapping urban growth patterns to help keep affordable housing affordable. Together, we are Denver's incubator for impact, ally for innovation, resource for solutions, laboratory for leadership, and transformer of futures. We are powered by a wide-ranging diversity of ideas, perspectives, and people, all coming together with the purpose of using education to elevate individuals, communities, and the common good. Together with our city, we are resetting the expectations of what an urban university can be and equipping our graduates to not only succeed in the future, but to define it. We are CU Denver. We are CU in the city.
All right, excellent. So that video just kind of showed you a quick overview of the campus so you can see where we're located and some of the research and programs we're engaged in. So to give you a quick overview of the University of Colorado, Denver, we offer quality academic programs. We do have a ranking within the top 5% of all universities in the US, and that's the US News and World Report ranking. And that includes 9 graduate programs which are ranked in the top 100. We also have very many unique and in-demand undergraduate programs. And moving on to the next slide. We offer unparalleled career outcomes. We know that students are putting in a significant investment to attend school in the US and that having a career afterward is really what they're looking for. So we have nearly 57 STEM OPT eligible programs, and those STEM OPT eligible programs give students an extra work authorization to stay in the United States and work. We have over 300 partnerships with local businesses, and we have internship opportunities with nearly 200 local employers. And we are located right in the heart of downtown Denver, one of America's greatest cities, which has been ranked the #2 best place to live in the US. It is a beautiful city with a beautiful climate, 300 days of sunshine a year. It's also doing very, very well in terms of its economy. We have the strongest city economy in the US right now. And this is one of my favorite photos of our campus. It shows, so this is our campus at the front and sort of the city in the back, and it shows just how we blend right into the city of Denver. And so I think we have a short poll here. I'm curious to know if you guys have heard about Denver before today. So I'll wait a minute for those answers to come in. All right. So most of you have heard of Denver. That's great, but maybe heard it but don't know much about it. So after today, you'll know all about Denver. It is maybe not as famous as some cities in New York or California, but it really is a up and coming city in the United States, and just a really excellent place to be. So you can see on the map there, we're right sort of in the middle of the US in the Rocky Mountain region. So a quick overview of the University of Colorado, Denver. We are a mid-sized, comprehensive R1 research university. We have about 15,000 students on our campus. 7% of those are international, and our international students come from all over the world. We are comprehensive, so we have over 140 different programs across 7 schools and colleges. So we have pretty much everything from arts and engineering to humanities and architecture. We cover it all. In addition, we have an on-campus ESL Academy, which has an admissions pathway to the university. All right, so next I'm going to move into some of our programs specifically, starting at the undergraduate level with some of our most popular options for international students. So our two most popular options are engineering and business. So within our College of Engineering, we have many different options. We have bio, civil, computer science, electrical, mechanical, and a brand new program in construction engineering and management, which we're very excited about. We know this is a very popular field right now. And all of these programs hold the STEM designation, which allows students an extra 2-year work authorization. Our business school is AACSB accredited, which is a special accreditation for business schools, meaning we are in the top 5% of all business schools globally. Within our business school, we have 11 programs, everything from sort of your typical business programs, such as accounting and finance, to some more unique programs, such as sports business and entrepreneurship. We also have several centers and industry programs, including our Jake Jobs Center for Entrepreneurship. Jake Jobs is a local business person in Denver who has been very successful and has given a lot back to CU Denver. So this is actually a business incubator for our students where they can come with their startup ideas. Once a year, we have a startup competition where students can actually secure funding to make their startup businesses happen. They also have the opportunity to participate in Denver Startup Week, which is a really exciting thing that happens once a year. Denver is one of the top cities in the US for startup activity. And moving on, I'll talk about some of our other undergraduate programs outside of business and engineering. We have the only architecture BS within the state of Colorado that is also STEM designated. We have some really excellent programs within our College of Arts and Media. The music business program was actually just ranked within Billboard's list of top music business programs. We also have one of the only contemporary music programs in the US, since most music programs focus on classical music. Within liberal arts and sciences, our largest college, these are only some of the offerings. We have many, many more. These are just some of the most popular ones. And we are very strong in sort of the sciences and pre-health programs because we do have the Anschutz Medical Campus in our system. So many students choose to study in pre-health fields at CU Denver and then move on to the Anschutz Medical Campus. So for that reason, our public health, biology, chemistry, all of those sort of pre-health programs are very, very strong. And next, I will move on to some of our top graduate programs. So again, our two most popular options are engineering and business. Within engineering, we have pretty much all the same programs at the master's level. We have both MS and ME degrees available, as well as 2 PhDs. Our bioengineering program is very highly ranked. It is number 69 within the US. And then the computer science and information's PhD, that's a really unique program. It's a dual college program between engineering and the business school. So it provides students with those technical engineering skills as well as some of the business skills. Then within our business school, we have the MBA with 15 different specializations. We offer an accelerated 1-year MBA program as well as the traditional 2-year MBA. In addition, we have many excellent MS program options. The two most popular with our international students are business analytics and information systems, both of which are STEM designated. And later in the presentation, you'll get to hear directly from one of our students who is studying in the information systems MS. And then moving on to some other programs. Our Master of Public Affairs is ranked number 25 in the US, so that is a really, really excellent program for anyone interested in going into the public sector. We also have the STEM designated architecture program, as well as several other programs within architecture. And then across our other schools and colleges, we have some really, really strong programs, many of which do hold that STEM designation, including our health economics, which is very popular, and then some of our biomedical and bioscience programs within the graduate school. And then moving on, I would like to just talk about some of our career outcomes. So our motto, as you saw in the video, is "See you in the city," because we are located right in the heart of downtown Denver, and really we are integral to the city's economy, and we're very connected to the business community. What this means for students is they're very well connected to the city and to the strong economy. So we have both undergraduate and graduate research opportunities, including funding for students to get involved in research. We have many, many different internship opportunities. Many of our students are employed through OPT, optional practical training, and international students have been hired by top companies such as Oracle, NASDAQ, Deloitte, KPMG, and Wells Fargo. We do not have an overall job placement rate because it varies so much between the different programs, but I can share that our computer science MS program has a 95% job placement within 6 months of graduation. And so I'd like to highlight just a couple stories of student internships that have led to career success for these students. So we have an office on campus called the Experiential Learning Center, and they are there just to help students apply for internships. It's very personalized. You will work with an advisor to find the best internships for you and see how it will fit into your curriculum the best. So some internships are paid, some are unpaid, some are for credit with a faculty advisor, some are not. So as I say, it's very individualized, and each student will work with an advisor to find what works best for them. We also have a special online internship and job board called Handshake, and that is just for CU Denver students to look for both on-campus and off-campus job and internship opportunities. So there are a couple of stories here, but I'll share about Dr. Sharmila Anand, who is from India, and she completed our health administration MBA, where she got an internship at National Jewish Hospital, which is a major hospital here in Denver. And she worked her way all the way up from being an intern to an associate director. She now manages a major healthcare company back in India, and she was recently honored by the World Health Assembly as one of the 13 heroines of health. So we're very proud of Dr. Sharmila, and she is just one story. There are many, many other similar stories of hers coming out of CU Denver. All right. So it sounds like most of you had heard about Denver, which is great. But for those of you who haven't, or who are just hoping to learn a little bit, is a medium-sized city. It's kind of the perfect size. It's not too big, not too small. It's very safe compared to other similar metro areas of its size in the US. It's got a walkable downtown area and a safe public transportation system. But it's still sort of got everything you need in a large city. And it is the hub of the Rocky Mountain region. So it's definitely the business and economic center for the whole Rocky Mountain region. But because it is sort of just the right size city, the cost of living and the quality of life are just excellent. So it's going to be a lot more affordable than coastal cities like New York or LA. Denver has a beautiful climate. We do get 4 seasons with some snow in the winter, but it never gets too cold like it gets out on the East Coast. And we get 300 days of sunshine a year, so the sun always comes out and warms everything up. There is so much to do in terms of culture and fun. We have 7 professional sports teams, many museums, live music venues, restaurants, just a lot going on. It's a very young, vibrant city right now. That's a lot of fun to be in. Denver is also known for having sort of active outdoorsy culture because we are located right next to the Rocky Mountains, where we have some of the world's most famous skiing, snowboarding, hiking, just a really great place for outdoor recreation. So this kind of gives CU Denver students the best of both worlds of getting that city life, but also that outdoor life. In addition, Denver has a major international airport, which is an important factor for international students because that means cheap flights, getting in and out of their home country, and it is a hub within the region, as I said. So in terms of student life on CU Denver's campus, we want students to have an excellent academic experience, but we also want them to have fun while they are studying in the US. So CU Denver has a very diverse student population. We are one of the most diverse institutions in Colorado. 50% of our freshmen last year were students of color, and we have welcomed students from over 130 different countries. So because it is so diverse, it is a very, very welcoming, open-minded community where you will see students and interact with students of many different backgrounds, and it's very welcoming and diverse. We have over 120 different student organizations, so sort of whatever you're interested in. We also have an international student association as well as many cultural clubs on campus. We have an Indian student association, Kuwaiti student association, and they're doing really fun events all year long. We have a brand new student wellness center, which was just built last year. And they have an outdoor adventure program where students can rent supplies to actually go outside. They can rent camping gear and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite things on campus. In addition, we have small class sizes. We have a 17-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We have a dedicated police service protecting our campus. And then, of course, all the opportunities of the nearby city. There are many different housing options for CU Denver students. We do have a traditional on-campus dorm called Campus Village. So that's sort of a traditional dorm with a meal plan that is on campus. We have 2 other student housing communities as well as hundreds of off-campus housing options. Many international students do choose to live off campus to save money, and then they get a transportation pass for free, so they commute into campus. And I think we have a video to show you yourself one of our housing options on campus. Excellent. So that video was from Auraria Student Lofts, one of our housing communities. I actually lived there myself during my sophomore year studying at CU Denver. I lived on the 29th floor and I had just an awesome view of the city. So it's a really great spot. It really gives students that urban experience right in the middle of the city. All right, so next I'm going to move on to some more specifics about tuitions and fees and our application process. So you can see our total tuition amounts here, as well as the total I-20 amounts. So our undergraduate tuition is about $30,000 a year. Graduate tuition is about $19,000 a year. And then the ESL term is about $3,800. We do have the second best return on investment out of all public universities in Colorado. And this is according to a study done by Georgetown Education on the Workforce, looking out very long term at career outcomes and salaries of graduates. And so what this tells you is that over the very long term, like looking out over 60 years, CU Denver graduates are earning high salaries, making their return on investment of education worth it. In terms of scholarships and financial aid opportunities for international students, we have many different options. So for our undergraduates, we do have a merit-based international freshman scholarship. This will cover up to 50% off tuition or up to $16,000 US a year. In addition to that, some of our very high achieving students are also eligible for the University Honors and Leadership Program, and that program comes with an additional $10,000 scholarship across 4 years. We also have scholarships for our ESL Academy graduates. And then there are school and college specific scholarships. So most of our colleges have their own scholarships. So for example, our business school has a scholarship for $1,500 a semester that's eligible for all majors, graduate and undergraduate. At the graduate level, most departments have graduate teaching and research assistantships available. So these are generally quite competitive positions, but they're really, really excellent opportunities to get really great relevant experience while also having part of your education funded. In addition, international students can work up to 20 hours a week on campus, and there are numerous employment opportunities on our campus because it is a larger campus. We have many offices and restaurants, et cetera, that need staffing. We have international students who work in our office. And these are really great positions because students can get professional experience and they're also pretty well paid. Additionally, we use a platform called Scholarship Universe, which students can use to search for external scholarship. So this platform searches through literally thousands of different scholarships and tells students what they're eligible for, and then they can apply those to CU Denver. And an important thing to know about these scholarships is you can add and stack and combine these scholarships in different ways. So you can have multiple different scholarships. So what a lot of our students do is they might have a scholarship and then be working part-time. So there are many different options, and we're here to help students figure out their financial picture. All right, so moving on to some of the specific application requirements. So at the undergraduate level, we have a very straightforward application. So we do not require SAT or ACT for our international students. So really all we need is the high school transcripts or equivalency, whatever that means for your country. So whether that's actual high school transcripts or equivalency exams. We do also award academic credit for certain high school curriculums. So for AP, IB, or A-level curriculum will actually award academic credit for those courses. And then we will need proof of English language proficiency, which I'll talk about in a moment. We do also offer conditional admission for all undergraduate and most of our graduate programs. So this is a great option for anyone who needs to study ESL first or who is maybe just waiting on getting a score. They can go ahead and apply now and get a conditional offer. At the graduate level, we have a few additional requirements, which are pretty standard for graduate programs in the US. So we'll need 3 letters of recommendation, statement of purpose. Some programs require GRE or GMAT, some do not. And then we'll need transcripts from the bachelor program. So many of our programs are moving towards waiving the GRE requirement. We do not want this to be a barrier for students. So here's a full list of our GRE waivers. Notably, the College of Engineering has waived the GRE for all programs in response to the pandemic. And then many of our other options here don't require the GRE. We accept many different methods to meet our English language proficiency requirement. So of course, graduation from our on-campus ESL Academy will meet that requirement. We also accept IELTS, TOEFL, and are now accepting Duolingo, as well as PT, academic, and some different ways with previous coursework. We also have a pathway program through our ESL Academy called Links Direct. This is an accelerated pathway program that ensures students guaranteed admission to the highest level of our ESL Academy. So they only have to complete 1 8-week ESL term, and then in the second half of the semester, they take 2 credit-bearing courses in the supportive ESL environment. So for any students who are at this level of just sort of not quite meeting our English requirement, this pathway program is a great opportunity for them. All right, and so I'd like to wrap it up today with, of course, addressing our response to the COVID pandemic. I know that is on everyone's mind right now, so I just want to let you know the latest from CU Denver. So campus is physically closed right now, but we are open remotely. So we are still operating at full capacity, just remotely. So we are open, we are still accepting and processing applications and issuing decisions and also issuing I-20s. So we definitely still encourage students to apply. We still want to get them in. It has been announced that our summer 2020 term will be remote, and we are offering a special discounted tuition rate for newly admitted students for that remote term. It is possible to complete our application entirely online, and we're trying to be as flexible as we can during this difficult time. So as I mentioned, we accept Duolingo, we accept unofficial transcripts. The engineering program has that GRE waiver. And then we have a pretty quick and easy deferral process if it does not end up being possible for students to come in person. They can always defer their applications for up to 1 year, and we do not charge an enrollment deposit, so there's really no financial risk for students to make that decision to attend. And an official decision regarding fall 2020 has not been made yet. We will share out that decision as soon as possible, but we're very much hoping that we will be opening on campus as planned. All right, and today I am very excited. I have a real CU Denver international student with me today. Lena, who is from Chennai, India, and is in the Information Systems MS program. And she is here to just tell you a little bit about her experience at CU Denver.
Hello everyone, good evening and good morning to all. So I'm here to share my experience in CU Denver. So first I would start with why I've chosen the CU Denver. So I've considered several factors and few of them are the locations, because CU Denver is located in the heart city of downtown in Denver. And the college is surrounded by thousands of companies, and then especially I heard a lot of alumni get motivated by seeing those companies, and then they start the day by seeing the professional people like the business attire. And then I really like about the faculty and the student ratio. It's like the 1 to 17. So for 17 students, you are like one faculty. So, and then geographically, it's area where you can look at the people and have some experience about the companies, and then take a look at your and I especially like about the programs, because my program is information system and I have a lot of specialization under information system program, and among them I've chosen business intelligence because I want to be a business intelligence developer. So as part of my program, I'm learning several tools that is required for the developer for business intelligence field. And I really like about the on-campus jobs, because there is there is a competition, but still you can get an on-campus job, because I work for 3 different people. Like I worked in the ID station, and I worked in the Anschutz campus as a student assistant. Now I'm working as I'm working in international admissions. So you definitely no need to worry about the on-campus jobs, because you'll definitely get one, and you have to apply in Handshake. So Handshake is a portal you can still apply for your internships. You can apply for your full-time job. It is especially designed for the CU Denver students. And then, so as part of the fun part, and I would like to share one experience. As soon as I'm here in CU Denver, so I've been to the mountains, which was organized by the ISSS office. So that was really fun, and you have a lot of activities which is coming up in future as well. So there are several clubs you can take part in the club. So in my part, I'm the one of the officer for the Information System Association club. So where you can get to meet the people from companies. There are we get a lot of panelists, and you can make good connections as well. And the one more thing is career centers, and yeah, they offer you a lot of programs, so you can shape up your resume, and then you can even get one-on-one meeting with them to improve yourself and in answering questions, or you can even have a mock interview for your full-time opportunities or for even internships. And the good part is that you have an advisor. So for me, I'm not sure about what courses I have to take during my first semester. I'm not sure how many classes I have to take in my first semester. So in that case, they will definitely guide you to take what the prerequisites courses, and you can plan accordingly when to finish, or if you have a plan to finish it earlier. So they will definitely help you to plan and take the courses on time. And as Emma said, there is for STEM, there is an OPT and CPT. So you have even a program which is offered by the ISSS office, so you get a clear picture of OPT and CPT. So yeah, you can even have a lot of fall fest, and you, as part of wellness center, you have a lot of thing like sports activities. You can have study rooms, because especially for me, I used to take a study room to have a group discussion with my group mates as part of my project classes. So there's a lot of opportunity for you in academics as well as in your career wise, and then you can even enjoy your student life. So I really had a great experience in CU Denver, and yeah, I always welcome you to have that too. Thank you. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you so much, Lena, for sharing your experience. We really appreciate that. It's wonderful to hear it from a student herself.
Alrighty. Thank you very much, Emma and Lena, for all the time that both of you have given us today. Obviously, as questions start coming in, we will look to address them. And again, it was great. It was a great presentation because as the questions were coming in, I was noting them, and Emma, you just kept knocking them off one by one, whether it was English requirements or work opportunities. So I hope this was very insightful for everyone. You did address COVID-19 on your last slide. And obviously, as you mentioned, the fall intake is still kind of up in the air and to be determined. A question came in with regards to any potential impact that you might see on OPT. Obviously, with current students, there's a greater impact as they are kind of in limbo at the moment. Do you foresee any issues with online study for students wanting to apply to OPT in the upcoming intakes?
Yeah, that's a great question. I know that's sort of on everyone's mind. So I think any decisions regarding OPT and online are going to come actually from the government agencies that are administering these programs and not from the universities themselves. Because since it is like a federal work authorization program, we don't really have the authorization to make those decisions. I can say we will advocate as much as we can that we do not want those rules to be changed. So we would advocate for students still being able to work via OPT if the semester does end up being online. But like I say, we probably won't be the ones to actually make that decision. I can say though that like with this current semester where we had to quickly go online unplanned, students were still able to complete the semester and complete their OPT. So we're making authorizations however possible. And I think if it does end up going online, I think they will try to accommodate and allow students to keep those same OPT rules.
For sure. And we've both seen that the SEVP office has been very flexible with accommodations over the last couple months. I was wondering if you could touch on just the I-20 process that has shifted to a little bit more online, and just kind of let everyone know what that's looking like at UC Denver at the moment.
Yeah, so as I said, we are still issuing I-20s and we are operating on our normal turnaround time, which is 5 business days. Of the time we get all the necessary docs, we will issue the I-20. We are still sending it physically via mail where possible. So that just depends on what country you're in and what the situation looks like there. But if it's possible to send it via mail, we will, because we feel that is more secure. Even though SEVP has said electronic I-20s are okay, there still hasn't been absolute clarity between the other government authorization organizations that are involved. So if it's possible to send a physical I-20, we will. However, we have been also issuing electronic I-20s, for example, to India, which has been completely shut down. So yeah, it just depends where you are.
Okay. A couple questions came in with regards to kind of requirements, and you obviously were able to showcase at a high level to what those look like. Of course, when it comes to program specifics, one of the questions that came in pertained to the MBA and was asking what type of work experience, and if any, and to what extent would be required for the MBA program.
Yeah, so for both our 1 year and traditional or professional, as we call it, MBA, there is no work experience requirement. The only program we also have an executive MBA, but that's for people who've been working for like 10 years in the field. So that's the only program that has a work experience requirement. For our regular MBA, there's no requirement. It can definitely help though on the application. So if you do have work experience, that will definitely be looked at and considered as a factor in the decision, but it's not a requirement.
And then in a different light of requirements for the international freshman scholarship, people were just wondering what is the minimum requirements for student eligibility for that?
Yeah, so for that, So there are numerous scholarships available. So we have sort of a GPA scale. So the highest level scholarship, that 50% one, we're looking for a 3.7 or higher on the US scale, which is out of 4.0. And then there are lower scholarship amounts going down from there, going down to like a 3.2 GPA. And I know the GPA looks different across different world systems, but we also do all of our credential evaluation in-house. So you just get us the transcripts and we'll convert that to a US GPA.
Fantastic. How does UC Denver currently address any study gaps? And what are the parameters to which, if a student takes 2 years off to continue studying English, for example, or how do you assess with each student application that comes through?
Right, that's a great question. So we'll address it individually. I don't think we have any hard and fast rules about that. We might ask for an explanation. That might happen if there's a significant gap and we don't see any education going on during that time. We might just ask why, but that doesn't necessarily mean a student is not eligible by any means. Also within the US, I'll say it's quite common for people to take a gap between their educations, and it's quite common for someone to drop out for a few years and then come back. So we definitely understand that, and that's a normal thing that happens here. So we'll just look at it individually.
Okay. And when it comes to the application processing, you touched on conditional offers being accepted for students. Are official documents or verifications of documents required in any capacity across undergraduate or postgraduate level applications?
Yeah, great question. So for transcripts, we do accept unofficial transcripts for all applications for application purposes. So we will still require the official document when the student actually comes on campus in their first semester, just to verify that that was indeed legitimate, and they'll get a hold on their account, preventing them from registering for future terms. And then for test score reporting, we do need it to be verified, whatever that means. For IELTS, we can verify an official. For TOEFL, it needs to be reported officially.
Okay. When it comes to, I guess, the master's programs, it was touched on that 3-year bachelor degrees may be accepted. Are there any specific conditions, or how is that assessed on from UC Denver's perspective?
Yeah, so it just needs to be coming from an accredited college or university that we recognize. So generally, we just follow the accreditation guidelines of whatever the Ministry of Education is in the country. So that just means it needs to be an academic program. There are certain like technical or vocational degrees that we don't accept. But as long as it's coming from an accredited higher education institution, we will accept it.
A couple kind of definition questions a little bit for our audience that may not be too familiar with the U.S. education system as a whole, perhaps. Could you just kind of go explain to some extent what OPT actually means?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so OPT stands for Optional Practical Training. So within the US student visa system, there are 2 different work authorizations. So the first is Curricular Practical Training, or CPT, and then Optional Practical Training, or OPT. And so these are both work authorizations that allow students to work on their student visas while in the US. So CPT usually happens through an internship, and usually this happens when a student is enrolled in their program. So that will allow them to work off campus at an internship that is relevant to their studies. And then the OPT extension, sometimes this happens during the course of study, more often it happens after. In the United States to work to gain experience that's relevant to their studies after they complete it. So all students in the US are guaranteed a 1-year OPT authorization. And then as I was talking about those students who are in those STEM designated programs, they get an additional 2-year extension, so bringing it up to 3 years total that they can stay and work in the United States.
Awesome, thank you for that. Another question is, a lot of questions are coming in actually with regards to open school and distance learning and how UC Denver would view students coming in with those kind of qualifications. Just wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, so again, I guess it would come back to accreditation for us and how that school is accredited and if we recognize that. So we definitely have accepted students before who have gone to online schools. It just needs to have an accreditation that we recognize.
Okay. When it comes to English language, we know that Duolingo has certainly been almost across the board been widely accepted by many institutional partners. Are there any additional, whether it's waivers or exceptions or changes in your admissions policy as it pertains to English language, whether it be country specific or any case like that?
So I think Duolingo has been the only sort of official change we've had in response to the pandemic. I can say though that we're actually updating our entire English language proficiency requirement, so that's going to be coming out soon. But in that, there are certain countries are exempt, for example, like Canada, England, countries where English is very widely spoken or is the language. And then we do also have other ways to meet it, like through coursework, so through A-level or IB coursework. So there are certain exemptions within there depending on students' individual situations.
Mm-hmm. I know we didn't go too much into detail or quite frankly at all about this, but when it comes to PhD programs, do you have any comments on just kind of how long some of those programs are and at a high level what they look like?
Yeah. Yeah, so short answer is PhD programs are very individualized, so they can look very, very different. But generally, these programs do take a little longer, so they can be anywhere from maybe 3 to 7 years, depending on how it looks for the individual student. Many of our PhD programs do offer full funding or partial funding through teaching and research assistantship positions. And then some general advice for PhD programs would be, we definitely do recommend reaching out to the department before applying and making some sort of contact with the faculty in the department, just to make sure that sort of your research aligns. Since PhD program is such a long commitment, we want to make sure that your work and the work of the department really matches up and sort of see if it's a good fit there.
Cool. Now we're coming up on time, so we'll give a couple more questions towards the end. You mentioned GRE and GMAT for particular types of programs is waived. For certain programs, it is required. Just some of us wanted to just understand the baseline to which those scores are accepted.
Yeah, so we don't have set minimum scores because all graduate programs do holistic admissions, so they're looking at the student as a whole. But I would say as a general guideline for the GRE, 50th percentile or higher is a good score if you're above 50th percentile or higher. And then our average GMAT score is 580.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so just all our programs within the business school do still require either the GRE or the GMAT.
Cool. A few questions came in with regards to backlogs and if certificates for those are required as well. Could you just touch on that a little bit as well?
Yes, so we do look at backlogs. So for students graduating from Indian universities, we do require individual mark sheets. So we do need to see those backlogs. Again, there's no hard rule about how many, but I will say our engineering programs tend to be the most strict on that, particularly computer science is the most strict, and they don't like to see more than 2 or 3 backlogs.
Okay, duly noted. On one of the slides you mentioned cost of living in comparison to California and also New York. Would you be able to just go into a little bit more detail about what cost of living might look like, maybe off-campus housing pricing, and kind of what the day-to-day expenses might be like?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the cost of living estimate on our I-20 for undergrad is about $15,000 for a year, and that would assume living on campus, meals, all of that. Rent prices in Denver really vary depending on what you're looking at. I think if you have a roommate, you could find anything from $600 up to, $1,000 or $1,200 a month if you're living alone. So it kind of depends on your unique living scenario. In terms of just daily expenses, students do get the transportation pass for free, and then a meal downtown. I don't know, a lunch could be anything from $7 to $15
Mhm.
downtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and I know we are, like I said, coming up on the last few minutes, so I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you again to yourself and Lena for both taking your early mornings. It's around 6. It was 6 a.m. when this started, in UC Denver. So we really do appreciate that. And with that being said, thank you for answering all these questions. And Mehdi, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Kelvin, Emma,
Right.
and
Thank you.
the time this morning with us. So to our amazing partner, you go ahead and apply for UC Denver. You guys get to learn a lot, and it is exciting to see how many amazing and great programs. And I think hearing Lena's uh, experience was really touchy for me, and I think that explains itself on why a student should choose UC Denver. Once again, thank you so much for everyone. For our audience, next week we will have the Montfort British University College in Ontario and Western Michigan as our next 3 top recruiter workshop. This was our first top recruiter workshop for US, which was really exciting. I really enjoyed it. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. Really pleasure hearing about UC Denver and taking the time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Guys, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.